Chapter 35 of The Bigger Picture. My Reiki practice. The Reiki share groups continued and more people were coming along. I didn't realise there were so many Reiki therapists in our area. One evening it felt like we'd stepped up a notch and moved on to a whole new level. I didn't know if that kind of thing happened in other shares, but we all felt that it was more than just giving and receiving Reiki that evening. The energy was high and we all felt a lot of activity in the room. Reiki was flowing and I felt the energy like I'd never felt it before. What was amazing was how we all felt so connected, that we worked as one rather than individuals. Then three things happened. We became aware that we had a lot of spirit observers present. They wanted to know that they were extremely grateful to us for doing what we were doing, and that although we had free will, we had chosen to spend our evening working in this way. They reminded us that gratitude worked both ways. I felt really humbled. The second thing to happen gave us slight cause for concern, as we all felt, to varying degrees, that there was someone present who we felt really shouldn't be there. We wondered how he had got through when we had been so particular about protection. But it turned out he was not harmful in any way, just extremely pompous and arrogant. He was a master healer and appeared to be on one massive ego trip, so he had been brought to us to observe and learn. As soon as we recognised him for what he was, he left. And the final thing that happened was that I became aware of a bus pulling up and loads of people getting off. They stood milling around watching us and appeared to be waiting for something. We finished working and formed a circle to give thanks and close ourselves down. It was at that point that we directed Reiki towards the people from the bus and bathed them in white light. They got back on the bus and went on their way. Most strange. So a most unusual evening, but what was amazing was those people. Not only had we each given and received Reiki, we had helped the arrogant man on an ego trip, and we had bathed a busload of people in Reiki energy and white light. And we had received grateful blessings from higher beings. But whilst the Reiki shares were growing and eventful, my own thoughts of running a Reiki therapy business were dwindling. I was finding it more and more difficult to find a place to work from, let alone attracting clients, and I started to wonder whether I was meant to be doing that kind of work at all. Other people seemed to be thriving, so maybe it was just me. I had given Reiki to a few people, but I was never going to earn a living from it. Things were not going as I planned. This gave rise to some serious self-doubts. Oh, I knew that Reiki worked. I knew that I could channel it, but for some reason, no one wanted me to channel it to them. What was wrong with me? It took me a long while to realise that there was nothing wrong with me. I was just approaching it in the wrong way. I presumed that I could decide what I wanted to do, and that would be it. Wrong again. Some deep thinking followed, and slowly I began to realise that I didn't control the way I worked. Oh yes, I had free will, but when I tried to exercise it, I was just getting nowhere. I had to move in a different direction, and when I realised that, I began to recognize the opportunities that appeared, and I acted upon them. I didn't know if it would work out or not, but if I didn't try, I would never know. I didn't think it was ever an ego thing, but more one of control. I've always wanted to be in control of my life, to plan and to know what the outcome would be. I've always found it difficult to just go with the flow. Reiki was, and still is, right for me, but I just needed to use it in a different way to how I expected it to be. I never did run a Reiki practice, but what I did was so much more than I ever expected. I just had to get out of my own way and let my guides and the universe steer me in the right direction.